Welcome to Fighter to Fighter, the podcast where warriors talk real, where we break down the good, the bad, and the ugly of combat sports, from victories to setbacks, from the bright lights to the battles that nobody sees. This is the place where raw conversations, real stories, and the truth behind the fight game. I'm your host, former UFC fighter Sean Spencer, bringing firsthand experience and insight and the mindset it takes to survive and succeed inside and outside the arena. Whether you're a fighter, fan, coach, or someone battling through life, this is the podcast for you. No fluff, no fake hype, just real talk. This is Fighter to Fighter. Let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another episode. It's the Fighter to Fighter podcast. It's the podcast where warriors talk real about the good, the bad, and the ugly of combat sports and life. I'm your host, Sean Spencer, former UFC fighter, and I'm here once again with another special guest. We have a 20-year combat sports veteran in the house. 12 MMA fights, 11 fight pro career. He is the owner and operator of Mai Plumbing. He's a husband, father, man of many talents. Give it up for the one and only Klayton Python Mai.
Sir, how are you, man? I'm glad to be here.
Yes. I'm doing great, man. This interview took a while to now we were setting up this whole time. A lot of scheduling conflicts, different things, and just life itself. And that's probably being a podcaster now is one of the hardest things. This is getting people in the seat. Not the fact that you don't want to do it. You want to do it, but it's like scheduling because there's so many things.
It's hard to find the time as
business,
as a family man, run a business, and just by the time our schedules linked up, But I think everything happened for a reason.
Exactly.
Last weekend we were supposed to go. I woke up Saturday morning. I don't feel very good, and then got in bed, woke up with 104 fever. So I wouldn't have been too whippy last Saturday.
104. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it got
up
bad,
there, bro.
It got bad, but hey, I'm back to good health now, and just rested. I hadn't been sick in a long time. That fever hit me strong.
Wow, bro. Well, I'm glad you're better, man. Glad to hear, bro.
Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
I would have had to cancel on you. That would have been bad.
It's all good, man. Well, we're here now. So yeah, you 20-year combat sports veteran. We can go so many places, bro. But as far as your fighting career, even let's go with nicknames. So I was actually interested in that. Talk about how it started, and then
Coach Safe originally. I don't even know if he remembers this. He wanted to call me the Terminator, But my last name is Mai. M-A-I, but it's pronounced like M-Y.
Right.
So I thought my time.
I
thought that would be a good one for the announcer to call out, and I went with that on like a fight or two. I don't remember, and then Rashad. He came up to me. And, I was kind of known, in some of the fights, and then I had a bunch of finishes with the guillotine choke. And then in practice, I was catching a lot of guys with it too. So he's like, no, the python. And also I have pet pythons. I breed and sell reptiles.
I remember that, I remember that.
And I've grown up with a pet snake. I was the kid in the neighborhood. My dad had a big, probably 7-8 foot long boa constrictor. And all the neighborhood kids would come over and we'd, my mom would throw a rat in and we'd all watch it eat it,
Yeah.
And, the snake, I found a lot of parallels to fighting, with the snake. I guess that could be like my power animal if you have one.
Yeah.
Kind
of like your, what do they call that? Your spirit animal.
Exactly. They shed their skin. I kind of, after every fight, I would kind of imagine myself shedding the skin.
Okay.
Shedding everything. And I've grown into the new skin. And, just the way that they hunt for their food and eat, they're constrictors.
Yeah.
So I would watch them and really kind of help me get that. Just something ingrained from watching, raw nature do it, something they do 100%. To survive,
Yeah.
So the python really stuck, Shout out to Rashad, man.
Shout out to Rashad Couture. I'm going to get him on eventually. We're scheduled too, but shout out to Rashad Couture. Even like the animal kingdom, because everybody has their animal, for me, it was, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of evolved because saw myself as like the lion, this and that. But I was like, you know what? I'm more like a Wolverine. Yeah. It's like not the biggest guy, but it's like those things will not stop. They're relentless. You know what I mean? And like there's bigger animals that are afraid of them. They're like run from them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like I consider myself like that's my spirit animal though, like the Wolverine.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, Wolverine's bad to the bone, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But also going back to constriction, with the guillotine, I would say that's your favorite submission.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that has to do with it, maybe I'm a little bit of a cheater. I'm left-handed. So people aren't used to defending the left hand.
Right.
But yeah, when I get a hold of the neck if I haven't trained with you before, if you don't know it's coming, I mean, I can catch almost everybody in that move at least once. Give them a little run for it. So maybe some of the high level guys will get out, but man, once I wrap that left arm around the neck, I feel like it's a wrap.
Yeah, 100%.
That's that one move that just, that's like my cheat code move.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like with submissions, and we'll get into a little bit to your story, but even like I love these conversations because this is a mixed martial arts podcast, but also too it's more about business, life, different things.
Yeah.
Just growth in general. But it's like why do people gravitate towards certain submissions? I've realized because I like the triangle choke, I like guillotines, I like some different ones, but like I've gravitated towards topside Kimura or even something on the bottom. I'm always looking for the Kimura, but you can set up other submissions from one submission. So like from Kimura, I'm like finding the armbar in places, but it's the setup is for the Kimura typically, or I'll be going for the triangle, and it's like it's not there, and then the Kimura is there. What I'm saying? But you can always transition back, but it's like I have the base of my favorite submission.
You're right, and that's a really good question. And throughout my martial arts career, like it's not always been I've always had a move, like a best friend or something, like wrestling. Obviously you can't guillotine people. I used to have, the fireman carry was my go-to takedown, hitting it from the left side.
Yeah. I
would have a pinning combination. I love getting chicken wings and working people with that.
Yeah.
MMA, I don't know. I just found my way to that choke. Like I guess maybe from wrestling, you was snapping the head down. You get, kind of that position right there, and hey, now you can just wrap it around the neck and kind of squeeze on them. So then when people are shooting in on you, it's always available there. But yeah, I spin off that move. I got all kinds of stuff I switch to now.
Heck yeah, man.
I've gained a lot of knowledge. It's like Coach always told us. It's like your body will get older, but your knowledge will be better. But your body's not there once you get older. And I'm definitely in that stage where I've got a lot more tricks up my sleeve. And hey, I still feel good in there. I was, probably October to maybe like January. I was training. I was back in there in Forest MMA, going with some of the young, hungry dogs. And, I put on the MMA gloves, bit down on the mouthpiece, and was coming home with black eyes. And man, I still enjoy it, love doing it. Love getting in there and scrapping with the guys.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, and it's once it's in you, bro, it's like it will not go away. We got to put that. We're fighters, bro. We're fighters, man. It's like, and there's like camaraderie in that gym. You know what I'm saying? It's like blood, sweat, and tears are shed in there, and it's like we always have that bond, in there. But also too like longevity. How do we cultivate longevity from so many years of just accumulated
and that's what I kind of was getting worried about in there. It's like man, I put in quite a few rounds with some of the tougher guys in there, and I didn't get any injuries when I was in there, but I did kind of bang my knee one time and cut it pretty good, and I was like, man, I almost got it's like black eyes that almost could have been cuts. I was like, man, I probably need to dial it back, but I had to test that test that steel and see if it's still sharp, and it feels good still, and I'm itching to get back in there, but it's just don't want to get hurt too bad.
I feel you.
You gotta train. I've got to make my mind make me kind of realize, hey, you got to be careful a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Even like where I've been training a lot of jiu-jitsu now. At least 4 days a week. Training jiu-jitsu, and what I'm realizing too, what I realized, when I started back training jiu-jitsu, it was actually a little bit like last year, probably in like October, November last year. But I think I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but I don't think I really started to truly learn jiu-jitsu until about this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a big difference between training jiu-jitsu and actually learning jiu-jitsu, man. And also too understanding the martial art journey. It's a lifelong journey being a martial artist. Some people are just fighters. It's a season of my life. I was a fighter then, and now I'm not. No, you're always a fighter. If you truly are, and truly a martial artist, and you're using your skills to grow, even in conversations, whatever, like taking the skills from another area, I guess, and then just becoming a better person. Really, at the end of the day, it's all about becoming a better person.
Yeah, that's right, man. And through the years, there's been little breaks where I'm not training 4 days a week. Sometimes I'll take a couple months where I haven't set foot in the MMA gym, but I do these things. I don't know. I kind of in my brain call them like ninja runs. I go out at night.
Yeah.
I have my headphones on.
Okay.
And cool. I run to various different places. Right now, Richland Community College. you're not really supposed to be around the campus at night, but
yeah,
so I kind of run fast through there. It gives you a little bit of extra adrenaline.
Yeah.
I've got a big concrete thing. It's like an amphitheater that's kind of abandoned over there.
Yeah.
I get up on that rock and, I run there. It's probably like close to a mile there, run at a good pace, raise my hand, walk around the circle, just envision like it was a walkout, have the music on.
Wow.
And really try to put my place in, my mind in that place again. Feel the chills, feel all the hair standing up on you.
Wow.
Shadow box, stretch, just pretend like I'm actually getting ready to go out there and do a fight. Practice, just all kind of katas that I used to do back in, started out in Kung Nu. It was way before its time. It was 7 martial arts in one. I trained with Grandmaster Nugio Dong as a kid.
Wow.
And I remember one thing that stuck with me that he said is like, basically, when you're doing kata or doing shadow boxing, which is basically like little short, put a little segment together, but always envision your opponent. And he said, they walk through the whole like belt progression thing, but he said when you're a black belt or a master, when people watch you say shadow box or do a kata or whatever, they should be able to see your opponent in there.
Yeah.
So I know I can see him and I feel him in there and, imagine him. And so I do that quite a bit. My ninja runs, where I go at night, find there's a pull-up bar on the way, just kind of hit the full spectrum of training, do a lot of different drills that I've done through wrestling, jiu-jitsu, MMA, Kung Nu, and then kind of run back home. And that's always been I feel like I've done a practice when I do it,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So,
100%.
If you find yourself, it's too hard for you to get away from your family, like you feel guilty going to the gym, you need to spend more time with them, wait till they go to bed, go out and do a ninja run.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned college just a minute ago. What college was that you were running?
I didn't go to college, but I turned it down.
You turned it down.
Yeah, just to do this, man, just to grind from MMA.
Grind from MMA. Well, before the podcast, you said something about that you were offered some money. Like it was like a lot of money,
scholarship and everything. They offered me like 15 something, 10 something, 5 million.
Wait. $5 million to you turned that down to do what?
Yeah, just to do this, just to grind from MMA.
MMA, wow. Yeah, but ain't no money in MMA. Well, there is actually. There's a lot of money in MMA, but
I was so younger, like I didn't know what it was.
Do you know what it was?
I didn't know what it was. I turned it down.
Hey, that's what it is, man. Hey, well, you're here. You're here.
It was a big college, though.
Yeah,
big college. They had a good wrestling team, but I turned it down.
Turned it down. You have no regrets.
No regrets.
Good. That's awesome, man. Cool.
Shout out Big Boogie.
That was good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but also too, wrestling. Let's go back to wrestling, man. Yeah. So that's actually the base of. Was that the base of your MMA foundation?
I went into wrestling. I started as a freshman in high school, so I didn't really have a wrestling background. But in Kung Nu, there was judo. And we would do, kind of some different, it was more, throws, like judo type stuff. So when I started from my martial arts background, I felt like I was like the karate, style, fighter, like not so much a wrestler going into wrestling. So I felt like I kind of was originally like maybe like a striking guy, wearing the uniform and the belt coming into wrestling. But then in wrestling, I mean, you're training every day. Those practices are different, a lot more intense.
Yeah.
You're it's a full spectrum. We would lift weights, we would condition, we would wrestle, we would drill. So then wrestling, I would say, I surpassed what I had done previous to that as a kid,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then wrestling became a background, but man, I've always, front snap kick, roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
We would do, lots of different elbows. So I felt like I was, I felt like I had a striking base, even though maybe a lot of people considered me to be a wrestler earlier.
Yeah.
And me being left-handed.
Yeah.
And just in sports in general, I was always switching back and forth. Like I'm left-handed, but I kick with, my left foot too.
Side, your right side,
when you wrestle with your left foot forward, which is different than say a left-handed striker.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I would, and Bruce Lee, that's his style, right?
Yeah.
Strong hand forward.
Wow.
Like instead of back, like a traditional boxer.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I mostly fight with my left hand forward, but I do switch a lot. Like and that really threw people off. I feel like.
Yeah. No. And even like with speaking of Southpaw Orthodox, and we're educators too. You can consider yourself an educator.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. Good. And that's part of being a martial artist too. It's like I want people to understand what I know about the sport too. Going from Orthodox, which Orthodox is left hand forward. Southpaw is when your right hand is forward. But even like holding mitts, and like. Actually, I held mitts for you one time. I remember, and I was still like just young and budding, trying to understand because you're in a coaching role when you're holding mitts. So it's like I didn't really feel like I was a coach or even like good enough to hold pads back then. You know what I'm saying? But then even like, and I didn't work with many southpaws at the time. Like I feel like I think you were the first
like
southpaw.
I'm saying, man, it throws everybody off.
It was like I think you were the
same thing. Holding mitts actually, I think helps you in fighting because you see stuff coming.
Yeah,
you're intercepting them. So I mean, when it throws you off, holding pads, it's the same thing when you're fighting.
Exactly.
Or doing jiu-jitsu against them. It's just everything's attacking the non-dominant side, like the majority of people do.
Yeah. It's funny because I was like I had to adjust to the southpaw. I think you were one of the first southpaws I actually held for. You know what I'm saying? And then so my kids, bro. So my son Gabriel, he's my firstborn. He's right hand dominant, but he sometimes like he'll do I'll be holding mitts for him, or I'll have somebody hold mitts for him, and he'll like switch to southpaw all the time. When I first started training, I was like, oh man, because he set up with like his like a left hand dominant fighter. At first, I was like, no, I ain't training no southpaws. Like, go to Orthodox, But then my son Gideon, he uses his left hand oftentimes, So I was like, I want to like let him be a natural southpaw fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, keep doing that, But I'm adjusting. I know how to train southpaws now. So, but they're still in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, no, the southpaw,
it's
great.
a big advantage. I feel like. It's something that people aren't used to seeing.
Yeah. 100%, man. Yeah. So let's talk about some of your fights, man. What is some of your, what would you say is like your notable fights? Like something, one of those fights that you're like, yeah, man, that you go back to that and you've learned a lot from it, or maybe it was a loss that you had, or maybe it was a win. Some of these fights that really prepared you for your life.
I got thrown right into the fires. Hadn't been doing MMA very long, and then an amateur opportunity came up. And they threw me in against Chris Gutierrez, who he had a pretty good UFC run. He was a tough guy right out of the gates, man.
Yeah.
And I remember he was like maybe as far away as we are in the striking.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, a seasoned striker yet. I was like, man, I thought at first he was like scared to engage with me. But then I quickly found out, no, he closed the distance really well. I just remember getting hit in the eye and, like he got me good right out of the gate.
You ever heard the bell ring?
Well, no, it was like how it is when you're in there and you're moving around. 1 minute, 30 seconds feels like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
especially on my amateur debut, I was like, there needs to be action, So I was walking him down, just got countered and.
Yeah, no, I was talking about like even like that. There's that sometimes you get hit and there's that ringing noise.
Oh yeah, it was a ring. It was a ring.
Weird.
Yeah,
it's
first
like,
punch just right on.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
Eye.
It was like. Yep.
Then blood got in my eye and made like a white cloud. I hadn't experienced that really.
Wow.
And then just bit down on the mouthpiece and, I ended up earning a decision win on it. Using my wrestling, I was probably outclassed on the striking. Felt his leg kick. I was like, and that was an amateur fight. I was thinking like, man, I don't know if I should be going pro. He kicked hard. I mean, he's got like I think the UFC record for leg kick finishes are tied for it.
Really?
So,
Dang.
Yeah, I remember feeling that leg kick from him and I was like, son of a gun. That's Like, this is real.
Wow. Dang. I didn't know that was like a stat.
Yeah. Leg kick finishes. I mean, people go on the ground and can't get up and wave it off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm thinking about some leg kicker guys, man. Like, you remember Polaris? No. He's sorry, his ankle locks. No, there was quite a few guys that actually throw really hard leg kicks, man.
I guess they were trained together. I don't want to talk out of turn, but Jonathan Martinez was his boy, I think. They trained together.
Yeah.
He was hovering around. I kind of had my eyes on the guys in my division coming up in LFA, and he was one at 125. I bumped down to 125. That's where the majority of my, tough competition was at.
Yeah.
He also was like a leg kick guy. I think he might be up there, maybe even more than, I don't know, but they both have a bunch of leg kick finishes in the UFC. And I remember getting kicked in the leg by Chris Gutierrez in that amateur debut. And like, man, I got to work on this,
You know, it's funny.
Started checking kicks.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes, like, I think about some of my fights, and it's like, some of the most profound fights that I had were like earlier in my career. Like, I think about my very first fight oftentimes, man, is how it was such a, they call it a divine, like a divine moment in terms of like setting your life a course, So Chris Gutierrez was that for you?
That was stepping into the fires, man. First, I had done like a little boxing tournament, like in college, like it was for a charity and stuff, and against guys that were just maybe ex-wrestlers, ex-athletes in high school, and man, I put all three of them down on the canvas, and that kind of gave me a taste of, I hadn't been training boxing, just hitting the punching bag by myself, kind of running, getting ready for it, kind of just treating like a wrestler, just preparing for battle, and we had boxed as kids for fun. But all my guys were there watching me, and put those three guys down. It was like, man, you were like the man, for a while, for a long time. People still bring that up from college.
That's awesome.
Like, oh man, remember you in the SAE boxing tournament? It was like a fraternity type philanthropy event, but they had it done up, big ring. They had a guy named Conan who owned a local gym around there. He wore the American flag shorts, like, what's the Rex Kwon Do talks about in Napoleon Dynamite. He had the whole thing. He had pictures in his gym of him fighting against Chuck Norris in kickboxing.
Wow, that's cool.
He was an old school guy, real tough guy. Conan's, I think, was the name of it. It was in Norman, Oklahoma.
Wow.
So I went to school, was Norman. So I did actually take the scholarship and went to college. But
I feel you, man. Yeah. That's good, bro.
Yeah.
Man, so many things, man. That's what I love about martial arts, bro. It's like even just like in life in general, just like those just those key moments in our life, different things, and like just being tough, bro. Like those tough moments, because especially in this day and age, bro, if you ain't got no grit, if you got no toughness, bro, it's gonna be hard.
Fighting through adversity is what I like to call it. You got to be very tough. You got to have your mind zoned in 100% when you end up.
100%, bro.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever have moments where, like, we're thinking about our fights right now, but it's not, I'll have moments where I have, like, I want to call it a flashback to a way that feeling in your gut, like maybe taking a shot, like you remember everybody in the crowd, what you felt like, you really relive like a specific moment in a fight, and it almost doesn't, it's like, what fight was that? But it feels so real. Do you ever have like flashbacks from your actual fights?
I think so, yeah. And it's not like how it is in movies, obviously, in your mind, it's not like, think about Rocky 4 when, Tommy Gunn, is that the one? No, this is Rocky 5, the Tommy Gunn Morrison, remember?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it was Rocky 5. I think it was 5. I
think you're right, 5.
Yeah, I think it was Rocky 5.
5 might have been the Russian guy.
4 was Russia. Yeah, 4 was Drago.
4 might have been.
Yeah, 3 was Clubber Lang, and then the first 2 were or Apollo.
Rocky and Creed.
Were Apollo. Yeah, exactly. So, for me, it's like when moments that happen, it happens very often. But the one moment I'm thinking about right now is if I'm in someone's guard, and I think, or if somebody falls down, or like, I like go over to them, I'm pursuing them. I think back to when I fought Ali Hanjani, and I'm pretty sure you don't know that name. Ali Hanjani was my first pro loss, and I actually caught Ali Hanjani with like a left hook, and I had the stand-up game down at that point in terms of like where I was in my career, So I pieced him up, boom, knocked him down with like a left hook. He falls down, and I was gonna do to him like I'd done before, just going for the kill, but he kept his composure. I came over his guard, tried to like, get that knockout, tried to find it, but then he wrapped me up with guard, and he just like, next thing you know, boom, throws his legs up. He set up a triangle. I was like, I've defended this before. I'm like trying to pick him up, slam him, like I'm about to rampage slam him, pick him up, and he grabs my ankle, grabs my leg, he's like, I'm stuck, he's like pulling me, setting it up, push my arm across. I'm like trying to flex out, he just like, he's got me, pulling my head down, finished it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like my first pro loss, and I was just like so mad, bro. I was fighting mad, which it's like the fight's over.
That's one thing about MMA. You have a very, very small window to prove the fighter you are. Like, there's, your fights go a certain way. Maybe you're feeling a certain way the day of the fight. You've put in this big body of work, but you only have a small percentage of your career to show who you are. So it's like, man, you got to come ready on those days.
Exactly.
Not only that, you have to, you can't make little mistakes like that. Like you could have easily won that fight.
Yeah.
Just do one little thing different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been getting into disc golf lately. Throwing the discs. And it's kind of like golf. You could relate golf to this too, but yeah, the margin for error. It's kind of like a metaphor for like fighting. I relate back to it. You could go out and play as many times as you want. The course is always the same. Maybe there's different wind conditions, weather conditions, but you go out one day and you perform drastically better than another day. Is it like little spurts of luck? Is it like decisions you've made? But you only get one chance in the fighting. You might be able to beat that guy, 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. But if it's that 1 out of 10 where you lost that day because you made some funny mistake, I mean,
right.
You just take those lessons. The lessons hit real hard, and you're thinking about them, having flashbacks from little moments like that, and wondering what could have been. But you just try to take and learn from that, and gain mental toughness to live in the moment. When you're competing or doing something, always just try to be in the moment. Try to block everything else out, and just trust in everything that you've done and try not to think too much when you're competing at something, and let it flow. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little exchanges, or I'd like to have back. Looking back, hindsight's always 20/20.
Of course it is.
Same thing in business.
Yeah, 100%.
Wish I would have bought a bunch of Bitcoin. Back in the day.
I hear about that. Yeah.
Had an opportunity and
turned it down.
Turned it down, man.
Turn it down. But to go back to what you were saying, to answer your question, those flashback moments. When I'm in the gym, sometimes it doesn't happen as much as it used to for some reason. I think it's because I'm growing past it, and kind of I took that and learned from what it was for, what it was for. But every now and then, sometimes like somebody will fall down, and I'll like have a flashback moment. Ooh, Alejandro, don't get caught in a triangle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
Mine are less like about that. It's more just like I don't even, it's like I just feel like I'm in there again, and I feel like the feelings that I felt like after maybe getting hit, and like somebody yelling something at you, and it's just weird, you flash back to those moments sometimes, and it feels so real. And then now it's like a wisp. I can't even, I don't even know when those hit, I can't even describe it anymore. It's like little flashbacks, I guess, they're still, it still is in there somewhere in the back of your mind.
100%, man. Yeah. So, even like going back to your wrestling career, but also too, kind of intertwining that with wrestling today. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen RAF?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome to see, and one cool thing about wrestling, one of the reasons why I trained at Fortis was I wrestled Matt Hobar, who was like an awesome high school wrestler,
The Crowbar.
The Crowbar. Yeah. I mean, he was always the guy that I wanted to beat. What I mean? Like he was the best guy in my division. Man. He was really good. We became friends, and that's actually why I started, he was doing MMA. I was like, ooh, I want to train, get back with him, somebody who was so elite, that I was aspiring to beat back in the day.
Yeah. I think he's back in town, right?
Yeah. No, he's been in town. Yeah. I saw he was training a little bit. He just had a baby boy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think he might be on vacation right now. I've been seeing some of his Instagram pictures. Yeah. I need to get with him. And now that the baby's kind of a step, you know how it is when you got a newborn.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want.
It's about to happen for me again.
Oh hey, congratulations!
Thank
man.
you, bro. Appreciate
it's a blessing.
It is, definitely is.
But yeah, that was probably the reason why I ended up at Fortis. Met Coach Safe. I remember going into him. He was at the front desk of then the Octagon. It was before it was like the Octagon was a lot bigger. They ended up like, I guess, renting out some of the other spaces. The desk was around the front side.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Just going in and finding him at the front desk and having a little conversation with him.
Yeah.
He immediately brings me back, and next thing you know, I'm wrestling this heavyweight guy.
Yeah.
And, he didn't know what wrestling was. A fireman carried him.
Yeah.
And that was like the first thing I did when I moved home after graduating from college was like go up to that gym and get enrolled there and start training.
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff, bro. Yeah, man. It's on my mind. I want to start talking about kids a little bit. Your kids, you have one kid.
One daughter.
Mine. I feel like it's like there's more kids. I don't know what it is. But how do you take, from like your toughness that you've learned? How do you kind of pivot that into your parenting, but also too that knowing that gentleness you need to have too, because you can't be always hard on a kid. So it's like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, if I had to, maybe critique myself in one way, I am super patient, man. Like I'm a very, very patient guy. I definitely have like a temper. I've got like a fire. I've got like a need to kill, but I never let that out, ever. Maybe, I'll let out a controlled version of it. Like when I'm, training or fighting, or definitely in the fights, like you smell blood in the water.
Yeah.
But the more you can kind of hone that and keep it, controlled and hone that skill. So that's what I do. Like just the mindsets there of like I've got that mindset, just, killer. Like I don't care, a protector, I don't 100%. Care who walks through that door. If it's time to go, it's time to go.
It's go time.
And a little bit of me gets excited and kind of wants stuff like that.
Right.
I've got that in me, and it puts chills on the hair on my neck. Like I've always felt that. Well, I guess, when I was a kid, I used to be kind of scared of conflict and stuff.
Yeah,
and then,
same.
I remember when I was training, martial arts as a kid, I would be like, oh, I never want to compete. I faced those fears, and now I relish opportunities to do stuff like that. But being a father, I don't really I don't yell at her. I'll talk to her a lot, and try to impart wisdom. I always pray for wisdom.
That's good.
I don't pray for results. I pray for strength and wisdom to do things the right way and do things to the best of my ability, and just, really just try to be a good mind frame the whole time. Every time I'm around her, and just work hard and I'm a big guy of leading by example.
100%.
Be the first guy there, the last one to leave, be the guy that's always on task. Never show any sign of weakness, always be on task. So I kind of do the same thing with her, like just try to be the best role model, best version of myself that I can be, and hope that, same thing with leading a company. I don't have to really sit them down, and I will sometimes, hey,
you got to, man.
Come in, have a seat. It's time. You crossed the line here.
Yeah, man.
We got to talk.
Yeah.
But most of the time, try to lead by example.
100%. That's good. And that's the mark of a true man, what I'm saying, in terms of, even a business owner, being able to have those hard conversations. Some of these people in society
got to sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
In parenting and in relationships, with your wife, with your spouse, everything, having those hard conversations, being mature enough to do it, what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, man, they run from it. They want to, and I've definitely in recent years, I don't run from conflict. I don't run for the hard conversation, but you have to know when not to.
It's a fine line.
There's a time
Very
and place.
Fine line about what to say, how to say it, how is it going to have a positive, outcome after it. You've got to be able to, harness that into spewing out the confidence, the leadership to them in a respectful way that, makes them understand what they've done is maybe not right, inspire them to be better.
Right.
And that's what a good leader is.
100%. Exactly, man. Leadership. It's so important, bro. And I think, definitely, I think that's something that's still out there, in society, man. But I think for me, it's like I'm latching on to leadership, but leading by example is number one, man. Because I cannot stand hypocrisy, bro. Like, I think about it too. Sometimes I was like, man, you got some of these trainers out here. They're like, all right, do 50 push-ups. Like, bro, you won't do 10 push-ups. You know what I'm saying? So
it's like the baseline has to be, and the same thing for a fight, to have the confidence to walk in the cage. You got to know you put in the work. Yeah. I've been in short notice. You get called in, and if I had 2 months, I could have done better. But in those 2 weeks, I'm really building up my mind.
Yeah.
And doing living it for 2 weeks, whatever it is, however long you have to live it. Sometimes a long fight camp, you can kind of lose, maybe you lose a little bit of focus.
Yeah.
You try not to, but and I've always been good about this, but I've also had situations where life came up and I haven't been fully prepared for something. Not so much in the fighting, but, in other aspects, where, maybe like a little side quest.
Yeah.
And you're there and you're like, oh, that starts creeping in, the little bit of, I could have done more. I should have done this.
Yeah.
So the baseline for being a good parent, being a good boss, being a good fighter, whatever it is you want to do, the baseline has to be, have you put in the work?
Yeah.
Have you been on task? Have you been trying your hardest? Have you been committed? Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline is one of the most important things that I've learned in martial arts.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if somebody said this before, but discipline for me, it's like it's all about doing what you know you're supposed to do, even when you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
That's like discipline. That's part of discipline. Yep. It's like I know to do this. I don't want to do it. I could do that, but it's like I'm going to do this because I know this is actually the
and all the
right
good
path.
Guys, all the good leaders, all the guys that have the charisma. They've always got a little wild hair in them too,
Yeah,
and you gotta let the dog eat sometimes.
Yeah.
No matter what it is you're doing, something exciting. Whatever your hobbies are. Like all the guys that we know, right? I mean, they've all got crazy stuff. They do skydiving.
Yeah, bro.
Whatever it is, something like that.
Speaking of skydiving, so I went to do one of those indoor skydiving places before. That's cool.
I've been there.
It's so fun. But as far as I used to think to myself, I was like, I want to skydive. I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Hey man, call Jesse Palmer. He tried to get me to do it. Yeah.
Oh, bro,
he's deep in the game. Man.
Look, man. I don't know what it is, man. Like in the last couple months, heights are like terrifying, bro. I don't know what it is, but like even because I used to not bother me when I would fly. Like that take off. Like I'm like yeah, let's do this, But recently, bro, it's like this.
Hey man,
I'm thinking about it's crazy. I don't know why.
Let's go to Six Flags. I love that. I try. That's asked about parenting. That's one thing that I feel like is a metaphor for life. I use fighting as that a lot as a kid. Of course you're scared maybe for conflict. You want to be the alpha male in life, but you're like a little kid. So how do you get good? Well, you get in the martial arts.
Yeah.
Like all the people we used to see on TV. Whatever movies that you were watching growing up, and it's like they're beating everybody up using these skills. So but a metaphor for life. Any fear you have, a very easy one is like fear of heights. Go on roller coasters, man. Just face that fear, make it your
100%.
Just face it and just get right in its face and conquer it.
Yeah. Do you remember? This is recent. This is in like pop culture right now. The people that climbed that, was it the Eiffel Tower or something? Did you see this?
So I saw Alex Honnold, and he climbed Taipei 101 live on Netflix. Is that what you're talking about?
No. These are people. This is a like a viral thing that happened. These people climb. I think it was the Eiffel Tower or something. This couple did it. They climb, and then they put like a banner up or a flag up on the very top of it. But then the guy gets down and he proposes to the girl on top of this thing. Yeah, I think it was the Eiffel Tower or something like that. But like even just seeing that in the helicopter, like go like panning around, I see that clip and I'm just like. That fear of heights hits me, bro.
You got to watch that one I was telling you about.
Me out, bro.
Alex Honnold, free solo.
I heard about this. Yeah.
He's the guy that free soloed El Capitan with no rope. I mean, it's a mile up. It's
dang.
You would fall like if you fell after the first 5 minutes of climbing, you're done. But yeah, that free solo, that Alex Honnold guy, he climbed this building. I mean, he's hanging back, putting on a show.
Yeah, you have to have no fear to do that, but also the skill of climbing.
Yeah, it's kind of like people are like, oh man, he's crazy. Like, what's he doing? A lot of people say that to us fighters. They think we're crazy.
Of course.
But hey, when you're training it,
yeah,
it's like, I would say that, I don't know. Fighting, you maybe get knocked out, you get hurt.
Yeah,
but in climbing, if you make a mistake, a catastrophic mistake.
Literally, you're going to die.
Yeah, that's going to die. I feel like probably more free solo climber, and I might be talking out of turn here, but I feel like probably more of them die than fighters. But again, it's misunderstood. They prepare, they know what they're doing. I mean, the guy's still here,
Yeah, exactly.
But that's another thing that I don't know that I would go. I could see myself being one of those crazy free solo guys if I had just caught the climbing bug as a young kid instead of maybe wrestling and martial arts.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of people. I don't know if you want to say men or people in general. I mean, we're living in a society today. We go to work, we got air conditioned, we got cars, but guess what, man? You and me were freaking warriors 1,000 years ago. You and me were hunters. We were defending our families from like real threats. Yeah. Animals, other people. I mean, we're bred to be savages. And so what do we do in living in this world, man? Everything's so easy for us. We're forced to sit at, not everybody, but you're forced in some way to make money, And even if you're not making money, you still have to find something to do to fill that burning desire in your soul to like, I don't know, defend your family or like go kill a big thing for a meal. There's something satisfying about, like I like going fishing too. I go fishing all the time. When you catch it's something different about when you're going for keeps, when you're going for like a fish fry and you're feeding all your people. There's something so fulfilling about that. Something so fulfilling about fighting. You go in there in front of your whole family.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm defending the tribe right now.
Yeah.
And you come out of there a winner. You choke that guy out. You knock that guy out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with like fishing, like surviving, like fighting, any one of those things. It's deep down in our DNA.
Yeah.
And I believe that it's imprinted in our DNA from all of our ancestors.
Yeah. We're warriors, bro. Warriors, man. And that's like, and I didn't have that, in terms of like, not saying I didn't have it, but in terms of like my pursuit when I was fighting before was really, it was a selfish pursuit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have like the family in mind, all these things. Now though, it will be totally different. You know what I'm saying? But also too, it's like we don't have to go to an octagon to fight for money or whatever it is to actually fight. It's like, it's life itself. How you show up. It's really just being excellent.
It's
honestly.
a metaphor for life, and it's a very important moment. I mean, everybody, you fought. Both of you guys remember the event. Both of you remember your personal battles to get to that point. You remember, everything in the cage and, afterwards. And, anytime you see one of them, it's like a brother, like somebody you shared a deep experience with.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So many places to go, bro.
I mean, fighting. You're waking up that DNA from your ancestors that they passed on to you, and the more you do that kind of stuff, the more you go like on hunts, the more you go on fighting. Take fights, go train. Yeah, and you're waking up pieces of yourself that have laid dormant. Everybody's got it in them.
Yeah, I think it's definitely genetics. It's genetics, DNA. Because like even for me, my dad, he was a black belt in karate. And I knew that he was when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? But I never saw him compete or anything. I would go to my grandmother's house and see pictures of him sparring or fighting like these the tournaments he would do, and just from that in itself, I like grabbed some of that. I got the bug to want to compete in martial arts, even though it wasn't even nowhere close to what it is now in terms of like pursuit to the UFC and all these things. But I knew that it was in me because of my dad. You know what I'm saying? And his father before him, which my grandfather, he wasn't like a fighter like that. I never saw him as that. But when I saw my dad do it, it's like, it's definitely something ingrained in our DNA. Like even like the Spencer family lineage, it's there. And it's like, I'm just like keeping it going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's in there. There's a lot of probably warriors out there that just never stepped in the gym.
Yeah.
Do something else, but it's in everybody's DNA because everybody's lineage has survived. So everybody out there can be dangerous. They can, turn those genes on. I mean, it's one of them things, man. Just, it's something that's deep down in all of us to do things like that. It's a good outlet. Like where do I feel my best? Out in nature, in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you're really, maybe somewhat fighting for survival and they're on a, it's in a controlled setting,
Yeah.
But that's when I feel the juices really flowing. I feel the hair stand up on the back of my neck. I feel, focused in, doing stuff like that, getting back to your roots.
Yeah, 100%, man. I want to talk about something that I've thought about before. As we're on the subject of, just the fighting and just having that warrior spirit and everything. You get these guys, like, let's talk about some of the highest level guys, these guys in business, these Mark Zuckerbergs, this Elon Musk's, you know what I'm saying? Who's another one, a billionaire, multi-billionaire, maybe even trillionaire now. What's his name? For Apple.
Bezos? Oh.
Jeff Bezos,
He's
one of them too.
Guys, yeah.
But all these guys. But then it's like they, you hear about these things, they obviously made their money and things like that. But then you get these guys gravitating towards the martial arts. Or maybe they were doing it in
like
before.
Zuckerberg,
yeah, he was supposed to be taking a fight. Him and Elon Musk were supposed to take a fight or whatever.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? I wonder, because it's like that maybe it's in them, but they use that fighter mind to get in another way. But now they're coming back. They want to fight now. What do you think that is?
Man, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, you can reach the top of the business world, but there's still a baseline survival instinct. You got to hunt for your food. You got to defend yourself against whatever it is out there, wild animal trying to get you, you're fighting something like that, or other people trying to come in and take your stuff, you know, from you and your family.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I mean, that's still within everybody, you know, even them guys, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a whole different thing. Like there's got to be something in those guys' brain that, you know, they've got something that makes them want to be, you know, if, man, hey, give me 20 million. You probably, you know, when you see me, it's going to be, hey, come out to my giant ranch where we're just going to go romping around having fun. You know, I'm not going to keep on trying to own the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm out. You know, me and my family, you know, I'm going to
do did it all.
Stuff that I want to do and stuff to better myself. I'm not going to keep on trying to accrue, you know, once you reach your first billion, and what's the point then? But I guess somebody like Elon Musk, I mean, you know, he's doing what his passion are, like trying to freaking go to Mars. Like,
you're right.
Hey, I'll hop on board with something like that. You know, he's got something, you know, Zuckerberg, I don't know if he really has a big goal like what Elon has. Like, you know, he's made Facebook. I just don't really follow the guy that much. But jiu-jitsu, I mean, like I said, getting in there and just you're getting in shape. You're turning on some of that DNA that's been dormant in you for a while. You know, you're making friends in there.
Right, yeah.
You know, and you know, you're just a little bit tougher than you were before. Next time you see somebody, you know, and hey, maybe they're not looking at you the right way, you just kind of smile at them and say, hey, you know, what you looking at there, man? Come on.
Right. But you've seen these videos online where it's like these dudes walking down the street and it's like a gang type of neighborhood, and then they're like guys mugging him, and then the guy's like lifts up his, and it's like a purple belt or like a black belt.
Yeah. Not a gun.
He's like the guy's like purple belt, and then the guys on the other corner, and they're like they pull theirs up as a black belt. He's like, it's so funny, bro.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that is. Yeah. I don't think I've seen one of those. I'll have to try to look into those little parodies.
Yeah,
I love funny stuff, man. That's the thing. I think that somebody with a good sense of humor also makes a good fighter. You know, because you have to, you're thinking at something from a completely different perspective. You kind of turning something around where it's maybe a serious situation is now funny. So if you can do that in the cage while you're fighting, kind of make use that different side of your brain. I mean, that I always find myself, you know, being creative and doing funny stuff. Yeah. You know, with training, even though it's not like a funny joke, but it almost feels like you're making a joke out of something. Yeah. Don't really have an example, but I know that what that brain feeling is like when I'm in there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Yeah, and speaking of that, you know, martial arts, but it's like arts, right? Yeah. So like I've seen some parallels too. It's like when I was growing up, I used to draw. You know, I could draw really well, and you know, that kind of like took a turn. I stopped doing that, but also music. I have a really good ear for music. You know, I played percussion when I was growing up, stuff like that. You know, I'm just now really kind of getting back into the drums and things. Oh, it's an art, you know.
Drummer, huh?
Yeah.
I heard there's a big band down in Jacksonville.
Hey,
they're looking for somebody.
You know what I'm saying? They hit me up. You know what I'm saying? They offered me 15. Was it 10? Some $5 million, something like that.
Wait, hold on. They offered you $5 million to play the drums. What are we doing here?
They did, man. I turned it down, bro. I turned it down.
Drummer,
just the grind from this, bro.
Yeah,
podcast.
Percussion. You know, the war drums. Those beat deep in all of our souls. Yeah. You know, before we had, you know, iPhones and music we had to create music. And I mean, we're not talking long ago, less than 100 years ago. I mean, you know, when did like what's the first thing? The stereo. I don't even know when that came out, but yeah, you know, music wasn't probably available on that. It's how did you listen to music? You listened to it live. You created it a lot. Yeah. It's not easy to go listen to somebody play music. So everybody is a little bit of a musician, you know, like everybody loves listen. It's something that's probably hidden in our DNA. You feel that one drum beat, that one song that really resonates with you. Man, and one thing I'll say, the one guy that gets me so pumped up when he walks out, Patty Pimblett.
Patty the Patty.
Dude,
yeah, he's awesome.
I love are Patty. Just insane. Off with the heads. That song, man, when that comes on, that guy, and man, he's had some good fights. Yeah. You know, I've been on the Patty bandwagon since before he signed with the UFC. Yeah. He looked like it almost people thought it was a joke. You know.
Yeah, it does seem that way. He's an artist. He's an artist, and he's free with what he does.
He used to have that funny haircut, you know, and all that. You know, I mean, man, that guy's walkouts. There's something to the walkout, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, one of the best parts is making the walk. It's kind of when the nerves go away. Yeah. If you can get to the point, which I did, you know, and I don't know if you remember the moment in your career, but first maybe the walkouts are a little scary, but then if you can get in, and you can tell the guys that enjoy the walkouts, they got that song on, they're feeling it. Patty's definitely one.
Yeah.
You know, he's just having fun. The crowd's into it. That's probably the ultimate guy right there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, you get your song on, you start feeling confident, you feel excited to perform.
Yeah.
You realize that everybody there is there to see you.
Right.
You know, you have to relish that rather than like feel like when you're saying you're holding the pads, you didn't feel good enough to hold the pads. There was a stage in my career where I felt like that going into fighting. I don't have that much experience yet. But then there was a time where I was like, these people are here to see, you know, when I'm like the main event. I was the main event like 3 times.
Yeah.
When that finally really flipped the switch where I was really having fun going out there and like feeling just like, oh yeah.
That's awesome,
yeah,
bro.
You know?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I didn't hit that what you're talking about. It never happened to me while I was competing.
Yeah.
But like now I'm at the point, it takes maturity, it takes confidence in yourself, you know, and knowing who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, sometimes I would like run from the crowd mentally and spiritually. I would like block it out. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's like, I'd block it out. I didn't want to feel it because it is very intense, you know? But at this point now, it's like, yeah, let's bring that on. But it's at the same time, it's like I'm, you know, building in my life. I'm doing things, even like the podcast. It's like, yeah, we have a growing audience. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you know, it's all about being authentic. You know, I think that's what fighting is all about, being authentic. If you go out there, do your thing, it's like, are you really who you say
Patty
you are?
Is his authentic self, and
that's
people,
what it comes down
you
to.
can feel it in your soul. There's that, you know, that just, you can tell when somebody's BSing. And a lot of times when they're like, you know, acting too mean,
like,
it's
so
like,
much ego.
This guy is just putting that mean face on as a front for fear. It's like when you see a wild dog and he's growling at you. It's not because he's you know, he's scared, the poor guy. You know? But when you see somebody out there having fun, like waving their hands around, just bobbing, and I mean, you can tell that's super authentic, and you know, he's having a blast out there. I mean, and I was, you know, it would come in glimpses at first. I remember fought a guy, Alex Warpath Russ. He was pretty, you know, that was in Legacy before it turned into LFA. Yeah. And that was like my fourth pro fight. And I remember, you know, a little nervous. I had got back from I got married, did my honeymoon, so there was kind of a little break. Of course, I was running on the beach. Of course, I was trying to put myself in those positions, but I wasn't there training with my guys. So when I got in there, I remember I was a little nervous, like, oh, you know, hopefully I put in the work. You know, he was just jacked, you know, physical specimen, just looked like a mean guy. And I remember backstage, it was a 2 Chainz song came on, and I finally
what song was it? You remember?
It was like that's my problem.
Oh, that's my problem. Yeah.
And I just started like bouncing around. I started feeling it. I was like, oh, okay. And then I could hear like crowd screaming for something else. I was like, I'm about to go out in front of this crowd. I'm going to make a show. That's awesome. I ended up, I went out, you know, I was moving around good, and we were exchanging a little bit, hit him with a stiff jab right out of the gate. I had a lot of fun in that fight, and I ended up getting him in a guillotine. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, man, he's tough. Referee pulls me off, and he just falls. Oh, the crowd went wild, man. That was the first big moment I had in there. I was just, climbing up on the fence. Those are the moments we live for. Those are the moments that are so addictive. Those are the moments that keep you coming back to the gym and sacrificing everything for little glimpses of that. But, you know, after that one, I would find, you know, I would still be nervous on some walkouts. But then finally, towards the end of it, you know, I was just like so enjoying the bigger, the louder the crowd was, the more awesome it was.
That's so.
And at first I would shy away from that. I was like, oh, I wish my family wouldn't be there. I wish, you know, I could just go and do it and then come back to them. But towards the end of it, you know, I started really like savoring everything, all the pressure, savoring all the hard work I put in. The higher the stakes, the better it was. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And that takes real confidence. That takes maturity. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And even now, you know, it's like even inviting somebody to your house or like the barbecue, it's like, hey, just like getting people together, man. It's like there's no like stakes on the line.
That goes back to feeding all your people, man.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what we were designed to do. That's number one. You know, you might have to defend your family every now and again, fight every now and again, but feeding, hunting, all that stuff, that's a daily thing. You 100%. Don't eat, you don't live.
Yeah,
you know, so feeding people, that's awesome. I love that too, man. Get all my friends, family, barbecue some stuff. Yeah, even better when you're barbecuing something you caught or killed.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Talk about the story. Oh yeah, we were out there, weren't getting any at first. I mean, it makes you go back. It's something deeply fulfilling on a very deep and ancient level.
Yeah, man. There's two things I want to talk about before we wrap it up. But I think I want to go to this topic because it crossed my mind a little bit earlier. Just like being a warrior, but also too, the fighter. We obviously see the UFC, we see combat sports, but then obviously other contact sports, football. Soccer isn't considered a contact sport, but it is. There's a lot of contact in soccer, hockey. You know what I'm saying? Why do we have these parallels? Well, in hockey, sometimes the guys will duke it out. They actually have a part where if they still, I haven't watched hockey in a while, they have a part where they actually let people fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Also, in football or basketball, it's not basketball isn't like a contact sport, but there's a lot of contact that goes on. When people get heated,
you ever seen Trent Williams in the NFL? My gosh, that guy, he'll punch people in the helmet.
Oh yeah, man, yeah. You see,
there's guys like that. Like, man, I wonder if some of them guys in the NFL and the NBA, like if they had gotten into martial arts,
right?
That's where some of our best athletes go because the money's there.
Yeah, exactly.
The smaller weight classes though, they don't have that.
Exactly. But why is that? Why is that? Obviously you already know, but it's like I want to kind of open this question up. When the conflict happens on the field, in the court, let's duke it out.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, I can outshoot you. I can outscore you, whatever. Yeah. No, it's like, let's throw hands. Yeah. Let's throw hands.
Yeah.
Why do they do it there? It's like, what is that all about?
It's you want to win so bad, and how do you beat somebody on the ultimate level? Take their soul, man. You beat them up. You put them into the dirt.
Yeah.
You make it where they cannot compete with you anymore. So I mean, you beat somebody in a game of basketball, but later after that game, like what are we ultimately fighting for? Our families, right? I mean, and so you revert back to, like I said, those base, genetic codes that are in you, that you're fighting for something more. And when you're competing on such a high level like that, you revert back to survival instincts. And when it's too close to tell, when we're competing and shooting, who can shoot the baskets better, who can play better defense, sometimes it escalates to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And even in MMA, I mean, it's like, hey, you separate us after the round. Hey, the fight's over.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not really over for people. You see them go walk back to the guy and bump chests, and you still, hey, it ain't over.
Because the conflict should be settled after you fight. It really should be. Some people are sore losers. Some people are like, just won't let it go.
It's a sport, but yeah, you're right. And the same thing, it's the same phenomenon in sports. It's like, the play is over, maybe in football, but hey, I'm like, forget that. The play ain't over. This is beyond the game.
Exactly.
Come on, let's do something. Who's going to be the real one walking off this field?
Exactly.
To reap the benefits and the glory of whatever it is we're fighting over. We don't have anything to fight over anymore. It's not like survive. I mean, I guess it is in a way because your career's on the line.
Yeah.
If you don't perform well out on the field or on the court, you may lose your job to somebody. So you, in a way, are fighting for something like survival, and it's just there for everybody. All the greats, they have it. Michael Jordan, think about that guy.
Yeah.
They used to punch his teammates in practice and all that. It's just he had that next level, burning desire to be the best, to be the number one, to be the top dog,
Yeah.
And that's what I think every good fighter and everybody that we trained with that did well, they have something in them like that. They have that mean streak, whatever you want to call it, in them to like, but like I was saying earlier, you got to be able to funnel that, to channel that in a way where when you're competing, the ultimate goal is to win the competition. You might be able to, between the rounds, push them or cheap shot them or something. But when you walk away the loser on the scorecard, or, you got finished off, doesn't matter anything else other than you winning. So you have to keep that in mind. Always win, whatever it is you're after. Don't get sidetracked or get distracted by whatever little scuffle you got. And on the flip side, if we're playing basketball or football, if I can get in your head and if I can get you to get a little mad fighting, there's people that are good at that, poking at you. Hey, what about this? And
exactly.
Getting you mad to where you get off your game, and maybe now you're going to make a mistake. So head games, man. The mind controls everything. You have to be a master of your mind. Mind over matter was the old saying.
Yeah. 100%, man. Good deal, man. That's And we'll get ready to wrap it up, man. It's been an awesome conversation, bro. Yeah. But I've got some gifts for you. You've got a couple things for me. Let's do a little gift exchange.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right, let's do something. So you can take a pic. Actually, I'm gonna give you one of these. I'm gonna give you this. It's my my lifestyle brand that I'm building, Warrior 100. You know, it's Very all about cool. Just it's the official modern day warrior. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I think you are definitely our official modern day warrior. So you get to rock that wristband. But also, I'm gonna let you take a pic of what you want. All
right, let's see.
I'll have more stuff eventually, but
what are in these little balls?
So that's actually the UFC. I guess they're characters, or not characters, but actual fighters. That, but also too, I have a couple of they're life. I guess they're called lifelong lighters.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You know, I know you're an outdoorsy guy, so you got one of those with my logo on it. So you can take that, or you can take the UFC.
Yeah, man.
Character.
I'm gonna take the fire starter.
Let's get it.
Like I said, I feel most at peace when I'm, nobody can see me and I'm deep in the woods. This is definitely something cool to have, man. That's awesome. I appreciate
bro.
you, sir.
Amazing, bro.
What I've got for you are a couple stickers from a company that's really helped me out a lot. They're family owned and operated. They're local, and that's Cruise Combat. These guys have just awesome apparel.
Thank you, man.
They got anything from custom fight shorts all the way to just cool stuff to wear.
This is a jiu-jitsu. Sorry, I was stuck in side control.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Some of their cool stickers. I got you, factory member. That's.
I needed this actually. No shoes.
No shoes.
Because I got this inflatable mat. I need to put it up. I'm probably gonna put it.
Gotta take your shoes off before you enter my mat.
Exactly. Well, cool, man. We're at end of show, man. I appreciate you being here once again, man.
And we could go for hours, Sean.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to finish up maybe 30 seconds to a minute. What do you have going on right now in your life in terms of what do you want people to know about? What are you promoting? And
while we're on the subject, Cruise Combat, they're the first, that fight against Alex Russ that I was telling about earlier. Yeah. They gave me my first fight shorts. That was my first kind of big fight where I actually had like custom shorts and everything. And, so if you ever need any gear made, even on a mass scale, check out Cruise Combat. They're Dallas, family owned and operated. I manage and run a plumbing company, my plumbing company.
Yep.
If you're in the Dallas area, Dallas, Richardson, Plano, Mesquite, any of the, we don't travel super far like Arlington or, I think Allen, we don't really go there, but, residential service and repair. We'd love to help you out there. That's the daily grind. That's my company, and my father started it. Other than that, dude, just pursuit of having fun, pursuit of peace. I used to think pursuit of happiness, but just looking for peace.
Yeah.
What puts us truly at peace in life. And that's it, man. Just trying to be the best version of myself and live the best life I can and not take one moment for granted.
There it is. Awesome, man. So that was another episode of the Fighter to Fighter podcast, the podcast where warriors talk real about the good, the bad, and the ugly of combat sports and life. Man, so many things we could talk about, but guess what? We're going to do that off air. We're going to continue our relationship, me and Klayton Mai. And until next time, peace, love, respect. And also, if you like what we're doing here with Fighter to Fighter, you can support our brand by going to our website, thegoldflameinitiative.com. We have the Warrior Prayer Book on there. We have, the new Warrior 100 shirt. We have the Warrior for Christ shirt. Different things going on. We have a lot of events going on. So go to my website and check out everything out on there, thegoldflameinitiative.com. And also, we have a new bundle out. We get the Warrior Prayer Book. We get the Warrior 100 shirt. And we also get the Warrior for Christ shirt, all for $57. So that's a deal you can't beat. So, go to the website. Check it all out. Talk to you later.